Hello everybody. It is Sunday the 31st of July, and so much for the rest that I was talking about yesterday. I will most definitely have it after this. Right, but there were some things that came up yesterday. Especially my friend talking about there are people that cannot be saved. And how are we being saved? What will save us? So let's start from the beginning. And again, what is it and what are we doing here? Because out of the correct view of that, will come a realization of what's happening. And I show you this. I give you a view of what's happening. And according to that, see what is happening right now. And according to that, see what will truly save you. Yeah, it is a new perspective that will create a new way, and it could create a new view of what's happening at the moment. So again, if you see yourself or God, God eternal, never changing, and then you think of yourself in that image, so your soul is eternal, never changing, and I hear those that speak in that way. So you come here, you become a part of this, you live your 70, and it's all okay because you go back to what you were. And then it is actually exactly those people that sit there and think, so what's the point of it all? And truly, if that's what you think is happening, there is no point. There's absolutely no point to this. If that is the truth, you are eternal, unchanging. But let's say the truth is, you can change. Then this experience actually becomes purposeful. It has a meaning. And the meaning is you are going to change. Yeah? That is its purpose. You're changing yourself. You're changing your soul. And again, that is why the teaching of God, eternal, never changing, soul, never changing, is so dangerous. Because you can lead people into doing just about anything here, because it doesn't matter. But on the other view, if you think what you're doing is actually changing your soul, then you might be a little bit more careful about what it is you're doing here. So that's the first thing. Get out of God never, soul never changing. Say evolution, always changing. And that this is a place where change is created. Because you are allowing yourself to be influenced by all these other forces that change you. So that's the first thing. So then, and there's another thing. The next point is, and here is coming, Jesus said, beware of those that kill the soul. Beware of those that kill the soul. That raises the possibility that your soul is not eternal, but it can actually die. And it's also what God said in the garden to Adam and Eve. If you eat of this tree, if you enter into the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die. So again, he was talking, this conversation took place in a spiritual place. He was talking to spirits, he was talking to souls. So then, again, there is a possibility that the soul will die. But, again, in the end, yes, the soul will die when it enters into this tree. What came here, if you at the point of saying ever changing, evolution, then yes, what came here will die, because it will be affected by what is here, but it will also be reborn. The change will create a new being. And that is, I would say, it's the whole point of coming here, to evolve, for the soul to evolve. So it is the place of death, yeah, but it is also the place of rebirth. And that is the whole point. To me, that is the whole point. Is that the whole truth? I don't know, but it gives meaning to what is happening here. Anyway, and here comes. So we're going around and we're trying to save people. And especially people that we see enslaved in constructs. Yeah? Whether those be political constructs, religious constructs. Yeah, we're trying to save them. And so how do you do that? And as I said, my friend and others say there are those that cannot be saved. I'm not sure. So let's talk about what these constructs do. So you come as an I am. Yeah? And you're being drawn into these constructs of religion or whatever, and they say, we are the light. We are saving you. Yeah? Do according to us. Yeah? Change. Become, beat down your ego and become like us. So there is a change happening according to that construct. And that will save you. Now, quite often if you're trying, first of all, in order to see what that construct is doing, you need to be an I am. You need to be an observer outside of that construct that can observe. Yeah? So here is the observer cannot be the observed. So you need to be able to be the observer, to step back and look at that thing. And then you're talking to somebody who's in the construct and you can't get through. You just cannot get through. And you would say, it's like talking to a brick. Because that is exactly what you're doing. You're talking to a brick. Because they have become the construct. In order to have a rational conversation with them, and that is actually really two I ams, two observers, talking to each other, giving their perspective. In order for that to happen, those in the construct would need to be able to step out of it and be an I am. And they no longer can do that. They have lost their I amness in the construct. So no, you're not talking to another human being. You're talking to a brick. So, and it is, and people say it and they don't see it. Like they go around and say, well, the church is not the building. The church is the people. Yes, that is exactly it. You have become a brick, a living brick in the construct. That is the church. And you're doing according to what it says is right and wrong. You have beaten down your own ego, your own knowing of right and wrong. And you're doing according to what the construct says. And you've become. And it's what David Icke says. People will defend to the death that which enslaves them. And again, it's not that they are actually so much defending the construct as they have become. It's become personal. Yeah? They are fighting for their life. and then see the vehemence with which a human being can defend its own life, because that's what they're doing. They're not defending the construct. They're fighting for their life. They have become that construct. And that is actually what you must make them see. Do not talk about the construct they're in, because I said it's personal. But look at it from a higher level and make them see, actually take them to a place where you say, step out of it and look at it. Become an observer. That's what you must tell them to do. In themselves, they must become observers. As long as they're in the construct, they can't see. So that's what you need to teach them, how to become an I am, how to become an observer. Don't talk about the construct. You're talking to a brick in a wall. And again, then just talk about what's happening now at the moment. This is the time of the harvest. The time where the fishers of man are out with their nets to catch the souls. So why is that? How did we get here? I mean, who even constructed a human being or put the idea into a human being that that is what it should do? That it should beat down its own ego and become a brick in a wall. And that is the way to salvation. Religion, the church. The church has created zombies. The thinking of the church, the teaching of the church has created zombies. And this is Paul Begley's zombie apocalypse, where the truth, the soul, has been beaten down so that you can become something else. And here's the question, can the soul die? Can there be those in the construct that don't have a soul anymore? They cannot actually, there's not even a spark left in them that is what came here, that was an I am. There's nothing left. Can that be? Can you actually beat a person to that point? And I mean, in fact, they're beating themselves to that point because they've been told that's what they should do. Or will there always be a spark? Just a little spark left that can become the observer and then see what's actually happening. I don't know. Can a soul die? I don't know. I mean, energy in the end doesn't die, but it can change. So can you change a person completely? Can you change what came here as an I am completely into a break in the wall? Well, I mean, you have created a change while you're here. You have become something else, but I wonder if that was the change you were looking for. So now, anyway, zombie apocalypse, the fishers of man. Because at the moment, the sparks inside of those constructs seem to be waking up. And it is actually the pain of having been beaten into that place that is waking them up. We are giving birth to ourselves in pain. So it is the pain that is waking them up. And I said we are in the in-between time, where we are detaching from the constructs. Yeah? We see they are causing us pain, so that the zombies are coming out of the walls. but they still don't understand what's happening. Yeah, and that is the moment where you must catch them and make clear to them that no, your God has not deserted you, and no, this is not everything is falling apart. This is the moment of rebirth. Yeah? This is the moment where you have the chance to look at that spark inside of you and say, who am I? This is the moment where you can reconfigure yourself. That is what they must understand. This is a moment of rebirth, not of death. But, as they are zombies and going around, and they haven't quite gotten that yet, the fishers of man are standing ready to catch the zombies. So right now it's a complete free fall. If you have anything that looks remotely like a structure that you can sell as light, yeah, the zombies will veer toward it. You know, my God has deserted me. I'm going to find another God. So this is where they're going from one structure into the next. And this is the moment you need to catch them in between and say, no, you don't have to be part of a structure. Or don't have to be you don't have to model yourself according to another structure. Just find out what you are first. Create yourself first. This is the moment you can do that. Can you make them see that? And there's the last thing I want, the other thing is once you know, or you have created, you have decided what it is you want to be when you grow up. And then maybe there need to be structures. Yeah? If Jesus says there is a storm coming, and in the end that is what he taught. He taught that you can affect your energy and the energy of others. That was the knowledge that he brought. And he taught that the only way to survive this is to be part of a structure. So, that is the only way to salvation. Make yourself into an energy of a kingdom, of a construct, and then become a break in that wall, and that is the only way you will survive the storm. I don't know, maybe there's safety in numbers. Maybe the individual cannot weather the storm. Maybe we need structures bigger than ourselves to weather the storm. But the correct way would be decide first what it is you want to be and then choose the structure according to yourself. Not just see a structure and then become that without even being a self to start with. And as I said, as they are zombies going around and they're seeing structures that are being built everywhere, but they're still not observers. They cannot observe the structures. They just see, structure, somewhere to go. I'd be safe there. So that's why it is complete idiocy at the moment. People veer into structures and say according to the structures, and what they're coming out with is lunacy. That is because they still cannot be observers. So, and I mean, in the end, do we already have structures that are not artificial and that are according to our own truth, where our true energies work? Family, friends, if they are not friends that were created by an artificial structure, so your political bodies or your church bodies, but true friends, those are structures that are according to us. And then say, if there's a storm coming, hold on to one another in your truth. Because the fact is, there might be artificial structures, but the further the artificial structure is removed from your own truth, that is to say, the more you have to beat yourself down and become something else. That is not your structure. You shouldn't be there. And here's the last thing, and that is something that is rising out of our bottomless pits. Again, something that is coming into consciousness. And again, this is a thought. And it is identifying with. I am identifying with. I identify as. It's everywhere. Again, it's everywhere. It rose out of it, and people are grabbing hold of that as a truth. But what does that mean? What is that truth trying to tell you? And again, people are being directed as to what the meaning, they're being given a meaning. And the meaning is, you are in the field of all possibilities and you can identify with whatever. You can become whatever. Again, and that goes into the feeds, into the thought of you make yourself into something else and become a brick in a wall. And what our deepest knowing is trying to tell us, it's actually a warning. It doesn't say you can identify, although you can, but it's not what it's trying to tell you. It's not you can identify. It's not saying you will identify. It's not saying you should identify. But it is saying you are identifying with something that is not your truth. That is what it is trying to wake us up, and it is the pain of that we have identified with something that is not us. That is not our truth. That is speaking to us. That pain is speaking to us. You are identifying with something that is not you. You have completely whacked yourself out of shape, and you're now in pain. That is what we need to wake up to. And I said we have natural structures around us, families and friends, and it is creating a web. Yeah? So you have your family, you have your friends, they have their friends, they have their friends. It is creating a web. You are part of a natural web. Hold on to that structure, not the artificial constructs. And then in the end, so coming back to the start, the soul came here to die and to be reborn. What are you being reborn as? Rebirth occurs because you are being given of something else than yourself. And you're allowing yourself to become a part of something greater. And you become that structure, you become that structure. That is what is happening. But are you becoming part, a brick or a string in the web, in the natural web? Or are you becoming a brick in an artificial wall? And which one will save you if there is a storm coming? Anyway, I leave it at that for today, and I might have that rest now. Talk to you again sometime. Bye.